Hey, everybody, welcome to Laws of Success. It's only 564 pages. And listen, I can tell you this 536 pages. Um, we're starting on page five. So we're already kicked out a couple, which is more than we'll be. A personal statement by the author. Some 30 years ago, a clergyman by the name of Gunsaulus announced in the newspaper of Chicago that he would preach a sermon the following Sunday morning entitled, What I Would Do If I Had $1 Million. This is the beginning of the laws of success. Napoleon Hill put the 16 laws of success in place. The 16 laws are, let me put on my glasses to read here, definiteness of purpose, mastermind alliance, applied faith. These are the 17 principles, not the 16 laws. My mistake. I'll read you the 16 laws in just a minute. The 16 laws, the first one is the mastermind. But in this speech that you're going to hear right now, this idea was a preacher said what I would do if I had $1 million. Now, there's a backstory to this story, if you haven't read that anyplace else, which most people haven't read, is that this preacher wanted to be able to create a place where kids could go and learning could happen, and certain individuals could have an advantage to be able to create success. Now, this book was written in 1925 from the manuscript lessons of 1925, Napoleon Hill. And I'm yelling at myself over here, and we got that stopped. Okay, good. Laws of success. I can figure it out. So this is what the preacher said. He went on Sunday and he said, if I had $1 million. Now, this is probably in the 20s, 30s when this happened. And if you know the rest of the story, the Philip D. Armour Institute was created. So here's how it goes. If I had $1 million, what would I do if I had $1 million? This announcement caught the eye of Philip D. Armour, the wealthy packing house king, who decided to hear a sermon. So here we are. We're first one line in. Philip D. Armour did not go to this minister's church. You'll get that, right? The announcement, he put it in the newspapers of Chicago, preaching a sermon that said, what would I do if I had $1 million? He had to advertise. One of the laws that's written right here in the first three lines is you have to advertise. What do people know about you? What do they know about you? What is your message worth? What do they assume they're going to get in return? We just had people here for the ranch, for the eclipse. I got nothing to do with the eclipse. But people wanted to go in a place to where they could relax, where they could spend some time, unwind, where they could be refreshed, where they could have clouds. They wanted good weather. God blessed us with amazing weather. It was touch and go, touch and go. People were going different places all over the God's green acres to try to, where's it going to be the best weather? I don't know that I ever really looked at it. I just knew it was going to be good weather. But we advertised. People, could you imagine if we didn't put out on Hip Camp or Dirt or whatever else the places were that we put an ad, we said, signed up and said, hey, listen, tell people about us. You want to know what your resume is? You want to know what some 30 years ago, the young clergyman by the name of Gunsaulus announced in the newspapers of Chicago. You want to know what your announcement is? Your social media. How many people have you helped? How many stories have you told of people that you helped? How many places have you posted that your leadership and your legacy and your understanding of how to solve people's niches and their problems and their solutions? Are you Googling? Are you telling, hey, it's a great day. Hey, I had eggs and bacon. My brain is fried. I had eggs and bacon. So your social media, if I go look at it right now and I look at 3 posts and none of those posts tell me what you do, there's your struggle. Listen, this is called the laws of success. This isn't called Sean's happy. Let me read you a bedtime story. If your posts are not, and it doesn't have to be you doing a live. Do you have testimonials? Have you posted up testimonials that say, man, I love it when people say this about what we do together? If you're not advertising, you're dead. Done. Don't go volunteer. Go volunteer. Go just step out of the entrepreneurial mindset and go volunteer. because you're struggling otherwise. Here's what happens when you advertise and you create a good headline. The announcement caught the eye of Philip D. Armour, the wealthy packing house king, who decided to hear the sermon. In the sermon, Dr. Gunsaulus pictured DMP, pictured. He spoken words that created pictures. He pictured a great school of technology where young men and women could be taught how to succeed in life. Didn't want to teach them math, didn't want to teach them science, how to succeed in life by developing the ability to think in practical rather than in theoretical terms, where they would be taught to learn by doing. If I had $1 million, said the young preacher, I would start such a school. You know what your school is? You know what your school is? It's the solution your product provides. If I had somebody who needed mental clarity, I would give them this product. If I had somebody who needed their blood sugar lowered, I would give them this product. What is it that you're opening? What is the school that you want to create? What's the thing that you're going to do that you're going to receive massive income from? If you're not telling anybody, it's the best kept secret. You are not part of the magical world of magicians where you can't reveal your secret, how the magic is done. I would reveal how the magic is done. If I had $1 million, said the young preacher, I would start such a school. After the sermon was over, Mr. Armour, could you imagine this? In the 20s or 30s, whenever it was, it says 30 years ago, some 30 years ago. I don't know when the school was started, but we'll figure it out here in a little bit. After the sermon was over, Mr. Armour walked down the aisle to the pulpit, introduced himself, and said, "Young man, I believe you could do all you said." Can you imagine? Do people believe that you can do what you do? Do you tell them what you do? And is it a guess? Is it a, I'm in the wellness. I fix people who are broken. I take people who are ill in health and get them better, and I do it faster than most anybody else. There's one person who does it pretty darn good, and they call what he does miracles. I use some of his miracles, but I'm not the miracle maker. But I take people who are bent, who are broken, who are shattered, and who want to be put back together, and I show them how to do it piece by piece, moment by moment, breath by breath. So if you're tired, we can get that. If you don't want to be tired anymore, you need to reach out. People who are got too big of a shadow when they stand out in the sun, flights of stairs make you breathe a little too heavy. I'm not saying you got to tell me who you are live here on this thing. I'm saying when you are sick and tired of being that sick and tired, you need to reach out to me. Are you saying that with that much vim and vigor, or like, well, I got some good stuff and I've got something I'm good. You're all geniuses. You're all geniuses. Young man, I believe you can do all you said you could do. And if you come down to my office tomorrow morning, I will give you the $1 million you need. What does your client need? What are you going to give them what they need? Right there, it says it. Right there is a secret. I can promise you 99.99999% of the people who read that have no clue what they just read. Come down to my office and I will give you the $1 million you need. He's already got it. I don't need the $1 million. He's got it. Armour's got it. He says, you need it. You gave me the vision to satisfy your need. What's the need your prospects have? What's the need your clients have that you can give them? I believe you can change your life if you get what you need. I got what you need. I got what you need. I had land. I had grass. I had trees. I had birds. I had dogs. I had sheep. The sheep are a big giveaway. I got I got it over any other park, any other place. I had little Bunny running around. Everybody loved Bunny. I got sheep, baby. I got land, I got lake, I got paddleboard. So does everybody else, but they ain't got sheep. So I gave them what they need. They didn't know they needed sheep in their life. The college doctoral students who left, they said, before we go, is it okay if we go say goodbye to the sheep? And they knew the sheep by name. They didn't know the people who were next to them by name. Promise you. Promise you, they didn't know that Wyatt and Carolyn was next door to them. They didn't know that Katie and Duane was Dudane was across from them, but they knew Nola, Lily, McKinley, Bunny, and Gizmo. They loved Gizmo, the scratch Gizmo on the head. I gave them what they need, but sometimes they didn't even know they needed sheep in their life. What is the thing that your clients need? Stop selling them the steak. Sell them the sizzle, what they need. Y'all okay? I haven't been checking to see if anybody's baked out yet. We're only 20 minutes into. There's always plenty of capital for those who can create practical plans for using it. Do you know why your prospects aren't showing up? Do you know why they all showed up? Do you know how hard it was fun? But do you know how hard Michelle and I worked to make it look like this place was just regular, just right, just ready? Michelle goes, "Are you going to cut the grass again?" I go, "You clean the house the way and you freak out because there's stuff on the counters. I freak out if blades of grass aren't. That is my OCD. I want it to look like you could walk barefoot. It's yes, I'm going to go cut the grass again." And it looks, and when you all come for the, oh my gosh, it's all going to be green. You've never seen this place all green. It's going to be breathtaking. But here's what it says. There's always plenty of capital. What is capital in your life? We're not even through, we haven't even gotten into the book yet. You get, this is going to be, on my 82nd birthday, we finished the book. There's always plenty of capital for those who can, listen carefully, for those who can create the practical plans for its using. When you go to a bank, what do they want to know? They want to know your collateral and they want to know your business plan. What is the business plan for the capital? What's the capital in your life? It's people. It's not the money. We don't get any money till we get people. We sell people, we get a transfer of energy, which is money, but we got to sell people. So the capital in our business is people. How do you do more people? See, Michelle went around probably 20 times moving signs around going, well, this will be the site 1 and 5. And I'm like, how are they gonna? She said, no, I see it. I see it. I said, I don't see it, but you see it. That's good. But she went and she planned for the people. And we had 15 spots. Guess how many people we had? Guess how many groups we had? Anybody want to guess? Anybody want to guess? 15. If she'd have put up a 16 sign, we'd have had 16. But we thought 15 was way too much. We'll never have 15 people. The 15 groups, we had 48, 49 people here. That's coming out for the eclipse. Who's coming to Shirley, Arkansas for the eclipse? They came for the pictures. They came for the story they started to tell themselves. What's the picture you create? And then how do you move the capital? Because if you can put the capital to work, every one of you has to put your capital to work, your people to work. And when your people work, when the capital produces, they pay for that. This was the beginning of the Armour Institute of Technology, one of the very practical schools in the country. The school was born in the imagination of a young man who never would have been heard of outside of his community in which he preached if it had not been for the imagination plus the capital of Philip D. Armour. 4 ways to get paid. Who knows the 4 ways to get paid? I don't care if you know the right words, but who knows the 4 ways you get paid? What are the 4 models? Spit it out. Come on. What is it? 4 ways you get paid. Manipulation, right? Use your hands. You can talk. You can unmute. You can talk. What's the next one? You dig in the ditch, then there's what? The supervisor, right? Coordination,
Co-
right? And then what's that?
Communication.
What's that?
Communication.
Communications next, right? Authors, speakers, actors. And then what's the highest one?
Imagination.
Imagination.
I promise you, Myron Goldman did not know Philip D. Armour nor this preacher when this book was written. And here we have proof that the highest form, $1 million, wasn't from, he says, I'm going to show you how to build a school of high tech. I'm going to create the school. Imagination. Some of you struggle at communication because, like, I don't like to publicly speak. Well, get over it, Skippy. If you're doing manipulation and coordination, your life's gonna be it's gonna be painful. And the problem is communication is it's odd. But imagination, oh, sit and dream and think. We're gonna do a lot of there's gonna be a lot of alone time at the ranch. A lot of you go over there and sit and don't come back till you come up with a good idea. You are gonna have some imagination time. The school was born in the imagination of a young man who never would have been heard outside of the community in which he preached had it not been for the imagination plus the capital of Philip D. Armour. Every great railroad and every outstanding financial institution and every mammoth business enterprise and every great invention began in the imagination of some one person. F.W. Woolworth created the 5 and 10 cent store plan in his imagination before it became a reality and made him a multimillionaire. Thomas Edison created the talking machine and the moving picture machine and the incandescent light bulb and scores of other useful inventions in his own mind, in his own imagination, before they became reality. One of the things Edison would do is he would build motors, electric motors, and he would put bearings in them. And the bearings run on the stator and the shaft and the magneto, and everything runs, and he would run it in his head, and he'd be at a dinner party, and all of a sudden the piece of equipment would tear down, would just disintegrate, it would destroy itself. And he would find out, he knew because he could examine every piece because he built it in his head. He knew it would cause it to fail, and that's how we have the incredible design of ball bearings that exist today, and roller bearings and a variety of different those things, because that was the weak point. If you were to run your business right now, if you were to run your business model that you have right now, how fast could you find the weak point and how fast could you repair it? What's your weak point? What's the weak point that you have? It's in your imagination. You know it. And the hard thing is, guess what? Guess whose book title you have to do when you find what the weak point is? Brian Tracy wrote the book. What's the book title? Eat the frog first. Some of you aren't eating your frog. Some of you aren't eating your frog. You're afraid to eat your frog. Eat your frog. Eat your frog. How many of you have ever heard you put a piece of toast in a pan, a little butter, piece of bread's got a hole in the middle of it? Frog in the hole. That's what we call it. Frog in a hole. Egg in a hole. Frog in a hole. We call it frog in a hole. Thomas Edison created the talking machine, moving picture machine, and incandescent electric light bulb, and scores of other inventions in his own imagination before they became reality. During the Chicago fire, scores of merchants whose stores went up in smoke stood near the smoldering embers of their former places of business, grieving their losses. Many of them decided to go away to other cities and start over again. In the group was Marshall Field. Anybody know the Marshall Field store? Who saw in his own imagination the world's greatest retail store standing on the self-same spot where the former store stood, which then but a ruined, which was then but a ruined mass of timbers. These are my notes. What would you do if you had $1 million? If you had $1 million, what would you go build? What would be the school you would build? What would be the business model you would build? If somebody gave you $1 million, would you know what to do with it? Would you know how to go build your business? Who needs to hear your message? Armour needed to hear his message. I promise you, he didn't know Philip D. Armour. This minister, they don't even call him by name. Oh, Dr. Gunsaulus. But we don't know. Do you know anything else about Dr. Gunsaulus? He was just the guy that started the school. I'm sure if you go read the school, you'll learn more about him. But in the laws of success, we only know it's Dr. Gunsaulus and Philip D. Armour. Philip D. Armour seems to get the top billing, right? Because he had the money. What is your imagination? Start to tell your story. Okay, page 6. Well, before we go there, questions, comments, thoughts on what you heard so far. Notes. What's your aha from that? This is just a note from the author. This isn't even anything to really do with the book. What's your takeaways so far? What's your dozen takeaways? Dozen? Yeah, dozen. Because otherwise you're not listening. You're not listening for your success. You're listening for notes. I don't want you to listen for the notes. I want you to listen for your success. Don't write down what I say. Write down what you need. Write down what you want. Write down what's next in your world.
Well, I heard lots of things.
Cool.
What's your message worth? What's your resume? Your announcement on social media? What are you packing? What's the attention?
I like that.
Yeah.
What's the attention that you're getting? So here's the thing. If you start going to use social media to talk about this story. Go Google it a little bit more. Say, I just realized I have $1 million story. I'm part of this call that the other day, whoever that is on YouTube, thanks for the hearts. Whoever, I'm part of this community that we're going through the laws of success, and we're reading the book where the guy says that in the beginning, if I had $1 million, the preachers, and I realized I had $1 million. I have $1 million story. Many of you who are listening to me right now have $1 million story. I'd love to talk with you about it. I'd love to see how I can help your $1 million story come through. Always talk about too many people. And I want to say young people because it was funny. There was 8 of these kids. They were all doctoral students. Can you imagine that? 8 doctoral students, what they talk about. It was funny when I'd sit with them and we'd talk a little bit and they'd be like, God, this is such fascinating conversation. Yeah, I'm sure it is. But it was just fun to hear that. And so they have such a grasp of what they have a grasp of. Their whole world, 100% of their world exists in 0.00001% of the earth. And yet it's their whole world. Your whole world makes up 0.00001% of what's happening in the world right now. Right now. Mine too. 0.000. So 99.99999% of the universe, our universe, our world doesn't care about us. Okay. Well, I don't need to do anything. Mason can help them. Just shine a light. So, what else? Good stuff, Diane. Sorry I interrupted you. I'm like butter. I'm on a roll. Whoever's throwing up the hearts, that's nice. Thank you.
There's plenty of capital for those who create a particular plan. And how do you make more people believe that? I have here. And then where you just finished talking about the $1 million story.
I love it. Who else?
I
Hi, Ruth.
sorry, it's been a long time. I wrote down, I must advertise, or I might as well just volunteer. And I thought, am I really just a volunteer? Ugh, that kind of irked me a little bit.
Good. Good. I love you. And I'm glad it hurt because I need more out of you. And I told these kids, I said, listen, I need more out of you. You're going for your doctorate. I need more out of you. I need you to come back to the ranch and us have conversations. I need you to understand human beings because you're working at a cellular level and a biological level. They're dealing with the functionality of radio frequency of radiation and how it deals with the cells and how the cells act. And another one is using MRIs and live MRIs, but not fMRIs, and they can see what it's doing. And 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, and you could damage cells that don't need to be damaged. I mean, like, you need to know more about humans.
Mm. Mm.
So cool. What else do you get, Ruth? What else?
I also wrote down, gotta learn, maybe I didn't write, how to think. I gotta learn by doing. It's funny because my daughter's college, that was their slogan. We learn by doing. So they made the kids do things in many projects, and that's how they learned. And so I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, so those are the two main. I have
Cool.
two more.
And that's good. That's good. Listen, that's two more than some people got. The key is, what did Bob Proctor always say? Do the thing until you don't have to do the thing.
Mm.
Make it second nature. I can drive across. Listen, first time we got the four-wheeler, little Cherry that we have, we got it. I had to pay attention driving across the dam. Now I practiced it enough. I can do it at high speed and I don't have to worry about driving. I just can go do it. Using a chainsaw, me versus Mason. Mason's got to pay attention to doing chainsawing. I pay attention saying I don't want to lose a leg. He's trying to figure out why does the thing throw chips the way it does? We all have to do. We got to go do. And the thing that is going to allow us to receive more is the thing we don't really want to do. You know how I know that? Because I could ask everybody who's sick. The one thing they need to do is get well, and they ain't doing the thing they need to do to get well. Who else? Anyone else? Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways? Is this good? Is this, should I just go in a corner and read it to myself, or is this okay?
No, it's great.
Okay, just checking.
I just wanted to check with you because
Yep.
I go on all these Zoom calls and they always say, what's your blurb? And you say, when you get sick and tired of being tired, reach out to me. And I almost felt like doing that the other day, but then I felt, is that too lame?
No.
No.
Did you hear? You heard Brad this morning, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When he asked the guy, "Hey, what's the thing you love most that nobody ever asked you about?" That sounds lame. Nobody uses that. Brad was sweating bullets. I promise you. If he didn't have the love and the confidence in me going, this is the stupidest thing I'm ever going to ask, I'm sure it came across like he had a mouthful of nails. I'm sure it did. But because its intention is so powerful for them, you could go, talk about, you don't get to talk about. What do you want to talk about? And somebody go, that's a good question. But he practiced it enough. And he's got enough faith in me that he knew he had no clue it was going to work. But he knew because I said it was going to work, it was going to work. And he said it with that going, God, I hope this works. I know he said, I know it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did it. And he said the guy talked for 10 minutes without taking a breath.
It's true. It's having that confidence, right?
Yes. And so when you say, hey, listen, when you're done with being sick and tired, You can't wake up in the morning and frustrated and aggravated. When you finally reach that, then call me. Don't call. I've said this before. You've heard it. Call me in the beginning. Call me at the end. Don't call me in the middle because you're not going to do anything. You don't hurt enough in the middle. None of you hurt enough in the middle. When you're done with this playing around and playing footsie with success, ooh, like me? Do you like me? Yes or no? Circle yes, circle no. It's got to come back through 35 hands back, and somebody erased the yes, and they circled no, and you're like, oh, you don't like me. It wasn't your dream that said it didn't like you. It was the one in between. It was the person handing you the note erased it. Who else? Anyone else? On that page before I well, can you imagine? This is going to be 500-hour training. God, I hope not, but it doesn't look like it's getting any less. We've only made it through one page in an hour. Listen to it like you do your audibles on 2.0. And if I talk really fast now, you can even get through it faster. So, okay, here we go. The store became a reality. The Marshall Field store. Fortunate is the young man or woman who learns, oh, this isn't even the laws. Are you getting this? Do you see how he threw the secrets in here? Fortunate is a younger man or woman who learns early in life to use imagination, and doubly so in this age of greater opportunity. We have more opportunity now than at any other time in the history of history, and this is in the 30s. Imagination is a faculty of the mind which can be cultivated, developed, extended, and broadened by use. You're not born with imagination. You create it, you craft it, you cajole it, you coerce it, you command it. Imagination is the faculty of mind which can be cultivated, developed, extended, and broadened by use. If this were not true, the course on the 15 laws of success never would have been created because it was first conceived in the author's imagination, and the mere seed of an idea which was sown by a chance remark of the late Andrew Carnegie. Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever you may be following as an occupation, there is room for you to make yourself more useful. And in that manner, more productive by developing and using your imagination. Where do you have more room to put success? This is my side note. The only reason success can't show up is you ain't got a place for it. If we were living on Voss Hills, the place we rented before we got here, some of you have heard me tell the story, the dog's backyard. Who remembers how big the dog's backyard was? It was the size of a dining room table. They had as much, the grass was 6 foot by 10 foot, maybe. 6 foot by 10 foot. Could the imagination of having 50 people in my backyard at Voss Lane ever been a possibility? Standing room only. And watch out for the poop. You have to have space. How many of you, when you were little, ever ate too much chocolate? And your body said, you ain't got enough space. And you got sick. Right? Too much of a good thing? You got to have space for your good things. Success in this world is always a matter of individual effort. That's underlined in red. Yet you will only be deceiving yourself. Listen carefully. You will only be deceiving yourself if you believe that you can succeed without cooperation of other people. Success in this world is a matter of individual effort. Yet you'll be deceiving yourself if you believe that you can succeed without the cooperation of other people. Success is a matter of individual effort only to the extent that each person must decide in his or her own mind what is wanted. The most difficult thing that you have to do, the most difficult thing that you have to do is know what you want. Then you must convey that cooperation and get people to cooperate with you and aligning with you to achieve your dreams. That's called the mastermind. Success is a matter of individual effort only to the extent that each person must decide in his or her own mind what is wanted. This involves the use of imagination. From this point on, write down the time, write down the date. From this point on, achieving success is a matter of skillfully and tactfully inducing others to cooperate. You give somebody a protocol to get well, to take this medicine, to use this service, to take these products, to listen to this, to read that. You have to get them to cooperate. And the better you are at getting them to cooperate with the things that they don't want to do, getting a child to study, getting somebody who's overweight to walk, getting somebody who's underweight to eat, getting somebody who's this to do that. There's always the thing that they need to do to cooperate with. Before you can secure cooperation from others, nay, before you have the right to ask. Am I on the right page? We only went, right? We were on page 5. Yeah. Because this is the deep training. This is, most people skip over this stuff. Before you can secure cooperation from other people, you must first cooperation from others, nay, before you have the right to ask. This is where social media screws everything up. They want people to like and post. Hey, listen, click like, click the share button, click the follow button. Unless they've seen your content before, you don't have a right to ask them. Brene Brown says vulnerability is their secret, is their gift, and you don't have a right to make them vulnerable by asking them, tell me your why. They have to give you permission to hear their vulnerability. And the way you do that is provide a safe, confident, peaceful place that they can say, yes, you can hear my vulnerability story. Before you have the right to ask or expect cooperation from another person, you must show a willingness. Do more than you get paid for. How many of you have ever heard that? You must show a willingness to cooperate with them. See, this is what your resume does. Your resume gives them, this is what short stories do. This is what your social media is supposed to do, is to give them a reason to say, Joseph McClendon's statement, I want some of that. Show them your willingness to cooperate with them before you ask for their cooperation. You must first show a willingness to cooperate with them. For this reason, the 8th lesson of the course, the habit of doing more than paid for, is one which should have your serious and thoughtful attention, should have your serious and thoughtful attention. The law upon which this lesson is based would, of itself, practically ensure success for all who practice it in all they do. The law upon which this lesson, chapter 8, the habit of doing more than paid for, would, of itself, practically ensure success to all who participate or who practice it in all they do. In the back pages of this introduction, you will observe the personal analysis chart. We'll get through that, in which 10 well-known men have been analyzed and studied for the comparison. Observe this chart carefully and note the danger points. which mean failure to those who do not observe these signals. Of the 10 men analyzed, 8 are known to be successful, while 2 may be considered failures. Study carefully the reason for why the 2 men failed, then study yourself. In the 2 columns, which the purpose of the law of success course is to enable you to find out how you may become more capable in your chosen field. To this end, you will be analyzed. To this end, you will be analyzed to use all the qualities classified, to use all of your qualities classified, the qualities that you have classified, so that you may organize them into the best possible use for them. You may not like the work in which you are now engaged. There are 2 ways of getting out of that work. One way is to take but little interest in what you are doing, aiming merely to do enough in which to get by. Very soon you will find out, because of the demand of your service, the demand for your service will cease. The other and better way is making yourself so useful and efficient in what you are now doing that you will attract favorable attention to those who have the power to promote you into more responsible work that is more your liking. In any one of your businesses, those watching on YouTube, those who I know that are in the Zoom, in any one of your businesses that you have, does growth bring you more responsibility or less responsibility? It's going to bring you more. The question you have to ask yourself, the more responsibility that you get, are you prepared for it? For those of you that want to go from 5,000 a month to 10,000 a month, 10,000 a month to 10,000 a week, 10,000 a week to 10,000 a day, to $1 million a year, all of your success, the stuff you are wanting, the vision, the dream, the definite major purpose, your intentions, your daily goals, your gratitude, everything you want is going to require you take on more responsibility. Is it in the field you like? Is it in the liking that you will do? The responsibilities you're about to acquire in your next quantum jump of business, are you ready for it? The only reason you struggle with this up and down yo-yo is because when you get to the top, you don't have more than enough skill for the new responsibility. That's it. You're not taking ownership of the high because of the new levels of responsibility you have to become aware of. I've never had 40 people at the ranch. I had 30. Y'all knew me. We knew each other. The very first event in a shed, with no water. Now all of a sudden, I got 40 people I don't know. I got to show up. They're not sure if I'm the janitor or the shepherd, or am I Michelle's Sean? Yes, and this huge storm. Thank God we were all sitting in the building, because it probably would have blown away if we weren't in it. So my question to you is the next level of your success, next rank, next volume, next income, next number of people, whatever it is, think about every time you took on a piece of new equipment. You took on an expense, you took on a responsibility to create your awareness of how to use the darn thing, and then you took on a responsibility to use it correctly and effectively with your students, with your clients. One kid had got one level of responsibilities. 2 kids, I have no clue. I can't even begin to imagine. 3 kids, Katie bar the door. You're in Utah, 7 kids, I don't know what you do. Not surprised more kids are left at Walmart, but that's a whole nother story. So, what's the next level of responsibility you got to get good at now, right now, quick, tonight, begin. Set what's the talent, skill, or responsibility that you need to get good at by morning? Ask. Your doppelgangers can give you all of that. All right, let me finish this up. The other way that's better in making yourself so useful and efficient in that you are in what you are now doing, that you will attract the favorable attention of those who have the power to promote you into more responsible work that is more to your liking. It is your privilege. God, this is good stuff. It is your privilege to take your choice as to which way you will succeed. You will proceed. Again, you are reminded of the importance of lesson 9 of this course, through which the aid of which you may avail yourself to this better way of promoting yourself. Again, you are reminded of the importance of lesson 9 of this course, through the aid of which you may avail yourself to this better way of promoting yourself. Thousands of people walked over the great Camelot copper mine without discovering it. Just one lone man used his imagination, dug down into the earth within a few feet, investigated and discovered the richest copper deposit on earth. You and every other person walk at one time or another over your Camelot mine. Discovery is a matter of investigation and a use of imagination. The course of the 15 laws of success may lead the way to your Camelot, and you may be surprised when you discover that you were standing right over this rich mine in the work in which you are now engaged. In his lecture on Acres of Diamonds, Russell Cromwell tells us that we need not seek opportunity in the distance, that we may find it right where we stand. This is a truth worth remembering. Napoleon Hill, author of The Laws of Success. There's the introduction. Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways. What'd you learn? What'd you like?
I have to think about space.
Okay. What do you got to think about?
Well, I've been so focused on filling calendar, not giving myself the space to engage imagination. Really.
So what happens after the calendar fills?
I'm stressed out.
So if I was your higher self, do I want you stressed or not stressed?
Not stressed.
So screw the calendar. I'm not saying screw the calendar. What I'm saying is it's saying we ain't filling the calendar.
Yes.
So how do we shift that? Calendar's full. Now you have space. Okay, right now we ain't got to think about space. Blah, blah, blah. I love you. I'm kicking your ass right now. I know that. But you ain't got time to think about space. You got space. Calendar's full. What's the benefit of having your calendar full? What's the
Helping
echo?
more people.
Yeah, but what's the echo? You can help more people. You don't run them over on the sidewalk. You helped a lot of people. When your calendar is full, when your calendar, Heather's calendar is full, what's the echo of that?
New calendar or old calendar?
Any calendar's full from today. Today, all of a sudden, you get 30 new clients and your calendar's full. What's the echo of that?
It's expansion.
Okay, great. What's the echo of expansion?
More responsibility, more
Okay,
more
let's go back to the first question.
more income.
It ain't even about the income. If you needed more income, you'd go do it. You've done it 1,000 times. What's the echo of your calendar? What's the space that happens when your calendar gets full? What's the echo of that? You helped a lot of people. Do what? What'd you help people do?
Heal.
Heal.
Feel
And
better.
if
Yes.
they heal, what happens to their families?
Everybody feel that heals. It's a
Okay,
ripple effect. Everything's better.
So why do you not want the families to heal? I do want the families to heal. So tell me why you don't have your calendar full. That's your space. That's the space you're afraid of. because you think you're responsible for all of them. You're not. You're responsible for the instrument you're tuning. Let it go play its orchestra. But don't keep it from playing its orchestra. Here's the neat thing about tuning can you tune an oboe and a guitar with the same tuner?
I have no idea.
Okay, so an E and a tuba, an E and a bassoon, just like saying that, bassoon, an E and a trumpet, and an E on a piano, if it's in the same chord of the same tone, right? Different sound, same tone.
Sure.
Sure. So
Yeah.
you're tuning everybody to the tune of what? Health. Use your same damn tuner. Stop trying to create a new tuner every time you need to go tune somebody. You're exhausted. Drink water. Take these pills. Here's how I'm going to tune you. It's the same pills for you. And this is Hippocrates had to figure out the 4 different ways to heal people for the same damn illness. He realized he had to tune people. I don't know. I haven't spoken to Hippocrates. He's not in any of my masterminds. I probably wouldn't let him in the door. I don't know. But your echo that you're creating, young lady, is this orchestra of wellness. You're the conductor. Stop trying to play everybody as the instrument. Well, let me show you how to play that. Let me reach around and blow in your mouthpiece for you. No, stop lifting their weights. Yes, you're busy. Yes, you're needed. You're so important, Heather. Oh my God, I couldn't do this without you. Well, you should. So now you have, I say now you have, but do you see where your space is?
Yes.
And it's not you having the space, it's teaching them how to have their space to step into their wellness. Then you can say, hey, take some of my space as you continue to heal yourself.
That's beautiful.
Now would you learn what you like?
This can be a lot easier than what I've made it to be.
That's the first time you said that.
Is it?
No.
So
So when are you going to believe it?
right now.
Yes. Yay.
Now o'clock.
Now o'clock. This could be easier. I know. When would you want to do that? See me laughing? I have an opportunity to dab up some water. When am I going to pick up the water? Now. Who else? What'd you learn? What'd you like? What'd you take away? I ain't coming back to this call. This call's rough. Come on, somebody else. What'd you learn? What'd you like? You ain't getting off that easy.
I think it's going back to the last book we read about the thinking stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's building the strength of the mind or your thoughts.
Yep.
And it was interesting. You talked about the imagination, like learn early in life to use your imagination. Mm-hmm. Right. When my granddaughter was here this weekend, there was a lot of people and she's eating and having a great time. And then she took her yogurt and she just started doing the rubbing it and feeling it. And my son goes, oh, she's making a mess. I said, no, she's not. She's using her imagination and she's she's feeling the texture and she's learning about that stuff. That's what you should be encouraging in her. So it just brought that back to my mind, because that's what we should be doing more of, isn't it? And that's how we would move forward and be able to help more people and achieve our dreams and those kinds of things.
Exactly.
And we're all capable. It's not that we have to become more capable. We are capable. It's being able to believe that we could do that and do it.
Yep. I'll tell you how to get your imagination real quick. Go empty a porta potty.
I did that when I was in guides.
I had to do it like a dozen times this weekend. First time, disaster.
Uh-oh.
D, capital A, aster. Yes. Michelle's giggling. She goes, "You talking about the bathrooms?" Yep. And I wouldn't dare make Michelle or Mason go do that, because it would have been fascinating. I know it's not about holding your breath.
If I had gone in there, I'd be putting the whole bucket away.
Easy done. Get a new bucket. What happened to the old bucket? I threw it all away. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways?
I struggled when I heard about imagining things, and I'm like, gosh, I just don't do that ever. And so there's a new level of awareness that maybe I need to think, what if? Maybe something else could be better than this.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. You've been told that all your life, and I can promise you, you have the greatest imagination on planet. You want me to prove it to you in 30 seconds?
Okay.
30 seconds. That's all it's going to take. 30 seconds. Give me the name of one of your grandchildren.
Luna.
What do you want for her?
A happy, joyous life.
Just give me more details. How old is she?
2.5.
Okay, so on her 3rd birthday, what do you want for her?
Just to have fun and just
Like what?
enjoy
Where would she be? Where's the birthday party?
at home, but just
Okay.
she's always giggling and laughing and happy, and
So you see her doing that?
I do.
Yeah, go into more detail, and now there's your imagination, and then just transfer that skill over to your business, because you have it. You just haven't fallen in love with your business like you have with Luna. Imagine so how does she blow out the candles? Is it a number 3? Is it 3 candles? You just go into details. You went to Dr. Joe, go back to all of that. You had no idea what it was, but you knew what you wanted, and you saw a lot of things that other people didn't see, because you knew you wanted to see what you wanted to see.
True.
So you have great imagination. You see, do y'all hear how we tell ourselves this? We're in the personal development world. She's been around this for 25 years, if not more. You teach this. The president of your company calls you because of your imagination. And then you have the nerve, the audacity to sit here and think, I'm going to listen to this cockamamie BS going, I just struggle with imagination. Here, just leave, go.
Okay, Zach. Okay. Well, I just feel like I forgot to pay attention to that.
But now you can, it's not, but don't say I don't have a good imagination.
Right.
I struggle with that. No, because now the universe brings you what?
A reminder?
Well, it
To do
brings you
this?
no imagination. You're like, oh, see, I tell everybody I don't have an imagination. And guess what? I don't have an imagination. That's good. Say, I've got the greatest imagination on the earth.
I've got the greatest imagination on the earth.
We've got to use our self-talk. Tell ourselves better truths and just start imagining. Tell me what's in your fridge. Do you know what's in your fridge? Probably not everything, but do you know what's in your fridge?
No,
What's
but
on the door?
pictures of the kids.
Okay, what's on the inside of the door in the racks?
Condiments, milk.
Yeah. See, so
Yeah.
you're imagining it. You can imagine
Mhm.
it. It's okay. You want to know the, I don't want to say the hard part because it's not hard. You want to know, for all intents and purposes, for this conversation, I'm going to use this word. You want to know the sad part? Is it comes to you too easy.
Mm.
Your success comes to you way easier than a lot of other people. And it's not because you don't have imagination, it's because you have imagination that's running at the subconscious level. You have a big picture of wanting to serve people, but it's sacrificing you. And imagination takes that away. Visualizing your dreams takes away the sacrifice.
Mm.
When you want to have more for you, it's like, oh, yeah, I just want more for other people. And you do more for other people, and you're like, oh, but I got to go to work now. I don't want to go to work. Does that make sense? That's what I'm hearing.
Totally. Totally.
Okay. And that's why I say it's sad that it comes so easy for you. Well, it doesn't come easy. A hell of a lot easier than a lot of other people. You and I both know that.
Yeah.
So now what if it comes easy for you and you don't have to be sacrificed anymore? That's why you don't want to work harder at your MLM, is because you get sacrificed. You get asked to do more, but I'm not like really, I'm not, but I'll do it. And no, get the return. You deserve it. I deserve to be rewarded. It takes, I was telling the doctoral kids, I said, it takes 15, 20, 30 grand to get me to leave my driveway. Now, Walmart doesn't take that much for me to go to Walmart. But you want me to get on a plane and leave my ranch and leave my bunny? Now leave bunny? There's going to be a bunny fee. That's why I can do this. That's why I'll do this all day long. I'm here at the ranch. I hang up, I turn on my cameras and I go look at the sheep, and one of them's having a baby. I'm like, gotta go. Love you. So it's okay for you to take care of you. It's okay for you to have more. It's okay for you to become more. And it's okay for you to do it with all of the thousands and millions and billions of hours of success and skills that you already have, my dear. Just
It's
when you
okay.
sit down and start to go, okay, all right, enough's enough. Enough of me being the second fiddle. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to be first fiddle, and if I'm going to do something, I'm going to get a reward, and I'm going to ask for it. Otherwise, I get to say no. You're taking away time from Luna. Do you know what it costs to take time away from you from Luna? Even thinking about her third birthday party? Just saying.
Mm.
Mm. And you'll go through the 4 stages. The fear of making it, the awareness that you could have said, oh my gosh, I could have been doing this all along. The new excitement, third one, and then 4, the new norm.
So it's shifting to each stage.
Yep. So the
Mm.
fear of doing it, it's like, but that's not who I've been. Yeah, I know, it's a new identity. New sheriff in town. I put the Ruth in ruthless. You need to get a bumper sticker. You need to get a t-shirt that says that. I put the Ruth in ruthless. That'd be a good t-shirt. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways? Both little fat mamas are laying down, in case you were wondering. Okay. I will let you all. And so we have just finished, and we will be getting into tomorrow. To whom the author owes credit for most of lesson 1, Dr. Alexander Graham Bell. I think he writes the preface. Cool. And then one lesson one, the mastermind. You can do it if you believe you can. All right, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. This is live on YouTube, so you can go watch it there and bring your gauze and your toning lotion for the little slaps. All right, everybody. I love you tons. Thanks for being a part of this. I'm your head Laws of Success misfit. I'll see y'all where?
At the next
At
event.
the next event.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, everybody.
Thank you,
See you in the
Sean.
morning.
Thank you.
Ciao,
Love
ciao.
you guys. Have a good night.